By Times Now World. Harvey Levin in Epstein files, ? Why the TMZ founder was called good friend in email by Mike Citrick. What's up, guys? It's Xero-G here, and this is some shit that should be mainstream news since it is the founder of TMZ, the premier gossip platform, but nobody's really talking about it except for less than 10 channels on YouTube, and I'll show that later in this video. But let's get into the article. Harvey Levin, founder of celebrity news website TMZ, is named in an email included in a newly released tranche of documents related to the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In the email sent by Crisis Communications executive Mike Citrick to Epstein, Levin is described as a quote-unquote good friend. Good friend. Good friend. The message reads, quote, tried to call you. Harvey Levin, who runs TMZ, is a good friend. They haven't reported on this at all, but I might be able to get him to do something on the Duchess and her backpedaling, unquote. Epstein replied, quote, okay, with leaking to British press, but think we need to get a statement out, unquote. There's no allegation of wrongdoing against Levin, and the documents do not suggest he was involved in any criminal activity, but his name is in the documents. Your name is in the files, sir. And you're the head of TMZ. That's your platform. You could have got ahead of this, and I'm going to show later in this video that he's not saying anything about it. I think this is a situation in which he can clear himself of doubt, but what they have done is that they're not saying anything. Nobody's saying anything. It wasn't trending on X. Shit wasn't trending at all. Again, only a handful of people are talking about this. There's only one article that I'm reading this right now that I was able to find that's talking about this. Here's the image right here. Here's the email from Mike Citrick to Jeffrey Epstein on Wednesday, March 9th, 2011 at 6:29 p.m. There it is. Try to call you. Harvey Levin's good friend. There it is. Harvey Levin. His name is specifically mentioned. First name, last name. Who runs TMZ. His name is in that motherfucker. I'm thinking birds of a feather, because if he calls you a good friend, what does a good friend mean? Right? A friend you call on to do something, right? A friend that you will call to take you out to places with. Right? If I call you a good friend, that means I'm hanging out with you. Or rapport is so nice that, I can invite you out somewhere. Now again, it says it right here. There's no allegation of wrongdoing. But your name is in the documents. That's raising alarm signals. And nobody's talking about it, which raises more alarm signals. The only people talking about this is another warband commander, or a warbander, a couple of broads, and Ticket TV. And I'm pretty sure one person's doing like a live reaction right now as the time of this recording, but let's get into the rest of the article. What the newly released Epstein files revealed, the U.S. Department of Justice released more than 3 million pages of material linking to Epstein, according to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Speaking on Friday, Blanche said the release was intended to meet the department's legal obligations under legislation passed by Congress last year, compelling the disclosure of Epstein-related records. The material includes around 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. Quote, today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the American people and compliance with the act, unquote, Blanche said. The department has engaged in an unprecedented and extensive effort to do so. The release comes more than a month after the statutory deadline of December 19th for publication of the files. Administration officials have said the delay was due to the need to vet the documents properly. Some files were released late last year, including photographs depicting former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Clinton has not been accused of wrongdoing in connection with Epstein and has called for the files to be made public. Responding to criticism over pace of disclosure, Blanche said, I take umbrage at the suggestion, which is totally false, that the Attorney General or this department does not take child exploitation or sex trafficking seriously, or that we somehow do not want to protect victims. You are not. You are not Mr. Todd Blanche. What you are doing when you release these files and redacted all this fucking information, you are not being transparent with the American people. You're not doing that. Because if you were, then it would be easy to release all these names, right? Because these are the assailants. These are the guilty party. Why in the fuck are so many people's names redacted? Oh, because they're all part of the less than 1%? Huh? This is the, all these media CEOs, tech CEOs, politicians, banksters. This is what we're dealing with. Let's keep going. He added that the public might remain dissatisfied despite the scale of these releases because these people are still in positions of power. Yeah, there is no actual connection you can find, but when your name gets brought up and you know how tight-knit of this community is, when a name gets brought up, a lot of flags have to get raised. And Mr. Levin is called a good friend. So it's even more, it's not like his name was just brought up. He specifically said a good friend. Think about that. Quote, we did not protect President Trump. We didn't protect nor not protect anybody, he said. Quote, there's a hunger, a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents. Well, because it raises a lot of questions. But it also comes up with a lot of answers, too. Right? Because if you cared about the children, then the guilty party would be brought out to the light, so they will be tried in court. Right? They shouldn't be in positions of the power that they're in because of their relations to this financier. But the names have been redacted. And even though the names get brought up, there's no sense of wrongdoing. But you have been hanging out with these people. And the email says it. Harvey Levin has been mentioned in that email, and it's from 2011. That's 15 years ago? A decade and a half. And his name was in the document, and by the reading of the email, it would seem like he could have some plausible deniability, but they decided to remain radio silent, and no media respondents at all. It's a bunch of independent journalists, such as myself, who has to release this information out to the public. Transparency of the media, right? We do have this article here, but there's no major news corporation talking about it. There's not even minor independent news corporations talking about it. This is really small scale stuff with this. But it shouldn't be. This is frontline news. This is TMZ's owner is mentioned in here. The Gossip Man is mentioned in here. Yet, radio silence from a lot of different people. Interesting shit, I would say. Some Democrats have questioned whether the full set of records is being disclosed. Congressman Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, said the department had identified more than 6 million potentially relevant pages, but was releasing about 3.5 million after review and redaction. Quote, this raises questions as to why the rest are being withheld, he said, adding that he would scrutinize whether key materials included victim interview statements and internal prosecution documents from a 2007 Florida investigation are eventually released. Epstein died in a New York jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. And that's the end of this article. Yeah, not that many people are talking about it, but I just want to show you guys before we get more into the fuckery of all this. Here it is. There's the email. I can't even highlight this, but there it is. Harvey Levin runs TMZ. Good friends. Good friends. Now, let's go to TMZ. Let's refresh the page real quick. Let's refresh. Nope. The latest video is 22 hours ago. Talking about fucking Ray Rice. Are you kidding me? Any shorts? Nope. Nothing talking about anything live. Nope. Any podcast? Let's go back to the video. Let's see the latest video.
Ray Rice was one of the best.
Go down. What were you guys doing on the island? See? 12 hours ago. 12 hours ago. Let's go to newest. TMZ is trying so hard to deflect from what has released. Yeah. Yep, look at all these. Harvey's in the files. Surprisingly, we didn't hate TMZ nearly enough. Well, you know, they want to talk about people, but when the head of talking about people is mentioned, he's not talking. Surprising how silent he is. Epstein files, Harvey. He's in them. Address the elephant in the room. Beyonce's losing millions of followers. We talking about Ray Rice? Yeah, they're talking about Ray Rice. Shit from fucking eons ago. But here he is in the files and ain't saying shit. What about Jay-Z and Pusha T? Well, you know, they ain't gonna talk about his friends, right? Because this is New York, right? TMZ's based in New York. The People's Court, in which same Harvey Levin was an announcer for, that was in New York, right? You know, it's a bit off topic, but, you know, Pusha, I didn't hear Drake mentioned in the files, Pusha. I didn't hear Drake mentioned. Despite Drake being half-hat, your name is in them, Pusha. Very interesting shit, too. A fucking cabal, man. Shout out to Cal Williams. A fucking cabal. Who didn't know Harvey from TMZ was... Okay. No, that's just... But TMZ defends Diddy, and Diddy's videos way worse. TMZ founder Harvey Levin is named in the Epstein files, described as a good friend who could help run a global PR effort to defend... Yeah. What were you doing on the islands? So, and here's another thing of why I'm saying people are radio silent about this, because let's go to YouTube right now. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go Harvey Levin Epstein, right? Boom. Ticket TV. Down the rabbit hole news. Now, let's filter this, right? Because this is recent news, right? Down the rabbit hole, couple videos. Shout out Chris Mike right here. Did that stream 9 hours ago. Currently live, that surprise witness. Abroad. 22 minutes ago. Okay. JC Panicky Ranger shutdown again. I don't want to necessarily call him a Jeet. I haven't watched the video, but he is talking about it. So good shit on him. Good shit. Good shit. Podcast Queen, no views. 16 hours ago. Valentine TV, and no more results. No more results. So after I upload this video, I'm just going to be one of, yeah, that's less than 10 people, right? Ticket, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Epstein bombshells. I don't think they're talking about Harvey Levin, but they might. I'm not seeing his name in here, so I don't know if I want to count that. But definitely everybody else is in there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I will be number 8. That's less than 10 people on this case. And he's TMZ, right? He's the TMZ guy, but yet he's not getting in front of this. He's staying silent, raises a lot of red flags. His name is mentioned, he's called a good friend, he's a small hat, you know, pay attention to the last name. So these are the people that we are dealing with. You know, these are shadow games that are getting played right now. That's all it is. They're not saying anything. But I want to keep you Brooders informed like I always do. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is Xero-G, signing out.